Hi there, I'm Mike, and what I have for you today is a very conflicting video. Sometimes there exists a figure, a toy, that you want to like so much, and there's a lot to like, but there's also a lot to dislike. And you try to be as objective as possible, balancing the good with the bad. And it's hard. Let's take a look at the Endor Rebel Soldier. This is the Endor Rebel Soldier. Finally, after months of not having him on pre-order, we got him in our hands as part of the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi line. So if you are wondering, at some point, yes, this will probably be in the main line, because most figures that get introduced into the 40th anniversary line do end up getting released in the main line. That out of the way, let's talk about the Endor Rebel Soldier, a figure that I've wanted since the Hoth Rebel Soldier. Does this live up to expectations? I mean, let's find out. Spoiler alert, yes, but more importantly, no. First things first, we have all new parts on this guy. There's no bit of reuse whatsoever. So with the head, even though we've seen this hat before, it is a brand new sculpt for that. We have a very nice face right here. Mine does have like a weird little, almost like a zit on his nose. I don't know if maybe yours has that, but it definitely looks like he's got a little skin right there, which is kind of weird. Other than that, though, everything looks great. There's lots of painting on the sides. There's a lot of detailing and shading on the face, and it's matte, so it doesn't look super shiny like he's been running through the forest all day, although this would probably be one of the few figures that can get away with that. Moving down, he's wearing some Endor garb. Now, there were a lot of different looks for the Endor Rebel Soldiers. This is the one they went with because they chose a very specific look that they were going for. So he's got this vest going on, and then it's got a little sleeve going down to the arm. The vest is a separate piece. There is this little removable bandolier part. It does just slip over his head. You can remove it if you want to. It's just kind of loose on there. So again, you have some display options, which is nice. He looks good with or without it. I prefer with, because this is the kind of little extra detail that I like on the figures. But you know, it's kind of fun because you can put this on like another figure if you want to. If you want to customize a different figure, you can do that. And the arms going down, we have a lot of sculpted detail in the sleeve. He's got a little wrist communicator thing with some little paint on it. There's a little paint on the upper sleeve here that matches the vest pretty well to my eyes. And then he is wearing a gloved hand with a finger, with a trigger finger on there. So unlike a lot of other figures in the line, you can make this guy left-handed if you want to. On this side, we have a little, what is this, like a patch? It's like an electronic shirt. Like, what is this? I don't know. Are these the controls maybe for environmental on his outfit here? I don't know. It can be whatever you want. It's just a little bit of detail, and it is painted. There's nothing on the back really other than just kind of some molded wrinkles and folds. And then on the little bandolier, he does have some nice paint apps on these little accoutrements and a little pouch with some things in there. So that's nice. This shirt underneath is absolutely plain. There's nothing going on there. And then again, you can remove the vest. The problem is he'll still have the sleeves here. So removing the vest will just make him look weird. There is a belt. It's a separate piece, but you really can't take it off unless you really try to take it off. Also, as a courtesy, you should buy him dinner first. There's some molded pouches on it. A very small amount of paint on this in the little buckle here. So some minimalist, but it's there. But let's move down to the pants. The pants here are the real star of the show that sort of shit the bed. The pants are fully painted with a bunch of different colors here. Whether you like it or not, these pants are the reason why this figure is deluxe, which is something I haven't gotten into yet, and I will give my thoughts fully on later. But these pants are why. There's a lot going on here. It's easy to say, ooh, let's just paint Paint is expensive. Someone's got to do it. And the process here looks like it's a couple different colors blended together. I get it, but I don't want to. The biggest problem though is despite, the pants look great, the coloring looks great, but as soon as you move this knee, you will see some spots they did not color. Now, that's partially because anytime you have paint on a joint like this, it's going to rub off. That's just the nature of paint. The weird thing though is that why didn't they just have a different plastic color? They could have had it like a green or whatever here, or a brown or something to make it mash up than this gray. This just looks like they've been rolling around in mud, and then this is the part, it was like folded over on itself so it didn't get any mud on it, and now it's just kind of sticking out. It's not great. This is not a good look. It's something that you only will see though if you have the knee bent. The problem is a very popular pose for this guy is on a knee taking a shot or pulling something out of a bag. And then he does have these boots down here. There's some molding, but there's really no paint on them. They're just boots. Moving on to the articulation, we have a lot of movement in the neck here. The arm can T-pose out. It goes back and forth because it has a great butterfly joint, which is something that every Black Series figure should have at this point. There is a bend at the elbow that goes greater than 90 degrees, and it swivels. There's also a swivel and a hinge at the wrist. The hinge here is horizontal, whereas this hinge is vertical. He has a really good waist rotation. There's nothing at the torso, but the waist is good enough, to be honest. The leg kicks out this far. I wish it had a drop hip so we could get a little bit better bend both forwards and backwards, but this is pretty good. He does have an upper thigh rotation, which is something that's being phased out of the line, weirdly enough. This is probably one of the final newer figures that we'll get with one. And like I showed off before, he does have a bend at the knee, a swivel at the knee because it's the new single jointed knee. And then he has a hinge and a rocker at the ankle. With this being his best Jean-Claude Van Damme. One of the weird things with this figure that I haven't seen anyone talk about, but I also haven't watched any reviews, so maybe this is a problem with everyone. My figures, the hips tend to want to snap back together, like on their own. Like there's a ratchet or something there. It's not loose. It feels like it's being pulled, there's a magnet, and then there's no magnet in there, but that's what it feels like. It's very weird. It's very hard to get him into an A stance because his feet naturally just kind of want to close up together. And because of that, it kind of gives him a weird, like, vanilla G.I. Joe pose. He is the vanillaest G.I. Joe they could have. This is like the most army builder generic G.I. Joe looking dude that we have on our Star Wars shelves at this point. That's not a knock. It's just a fact. Now let's talk about what he comes with, because for a deluxe figure, you'd think that you'd be getting a decent amount of accessories. This is what he comes with. First, we have this blaster. Now we've seen this blaster a couple of times in the line. Most notably, it came with the Hoth Rebel Soldier. This is the standard, I suppose, just Rebel Soldier blaster. And because of the great range of articulation in his elbow, he does have a couple of just decent standard blaster holding poses. If the bigger blaster isn't your thing, he does come with the smaller, more traditional Rebel blaster. We've seen this blaster many times. Again, notably, one came with the Hoth Rebel Soldier. I'm just gonna drop everything. I'm gonna leave that one in though. This is just sort of the standard issue blaster that the Rebel Alliance gives. Now, both blasters are something we've seen before, but there's also no paint on them, and they're rendered in this really boring gray plastic. Not even black. Just kind of a weird gray, which I just do not like. This is probably one of my least favorite things that we've seen from a deluxe figure. But that's not all he comes with, thankfully, but not thankfully. He also comes with this backpack. Now, the backpack is sculpted really nicely. It's got these little straps. It's got this little hose. It's got a bunch of little paint apps on there, and it looks good on him. It slides easily up the arms and just gives him, like he's ready to go to school. He's excited for his first big day of the 5th grade, and it's just a good backpack, and there are a lot of great details, sculpting, and painting on there. You really can't complain much about that. The problem with all of this is that there is no place to store any of this stuff. There's no holster for this rifle. There's not a strap on it so you can put it on his arm. There's no holster for this smaller blaster that the Hoth Rebel Soldier does have. And there's no storage on this backpack, despite the fact that this looks like it should pop up, and there seems to be plenty of places that you could put something into. Most notably, his last accessory, which is this alternate face. I will say, getting this head off can be a chore. It does not like to come off. So here we have the Endor Rebel Soldier with his alternate face on. I love the fact that they gave us two because it gives us a reason to buy a second one without having to like hunt for an alternate figure or a chase figure with a different head. You know, like every time you go, you see one, but you're looking for the other one, but the other one's harder to get for some reason. You don't have to worry about any of that. There's just an alternate face. If all this sounds familiar, it's because it's been done before with the Hoth Rebel Soldier. The problem is that it was done better with the Hoth Rebel Soldier. And before you ask, no, the faces between the Endor Rebel Soldier and the Hoth Rebel Soldier are not compatible. I heard they tried. I heard from a good source that they tried. It's just another reason to be disappointed, I guess. Now, when these first got shown off, I defended this pretty harshly because I was excited for it, and I still am. Here's the thing. I am conflicted. I love this figure in terms of how it looks. It's pretty much almost everything I could have wanted in a Black Series Endor Rebel Soldier. It's got a lot of great details. It's got enough accessories. And we'll get into what I would love to see instead or on top of. Point for point, almost pound for pound, these guys come with the exact same accessories. In fact, this comes with a little more. It comes with the removable goggles. It comes with a removable little mask or handkerchief or whatever to go over his face or down here on the shirt. He has a holster for his alternate gun that he doesn't have. Now, granted, they didn't really look like they had holsters in the movie, so adding one wouldn't be accurate, but still. The bigger thing for me comes to his backpack. The backpack on the Endor Rebel Soldier has this nice little compartment for his alternate face. It puts it right in there, so you've got storage for it. They could have easily done something like this with the backpack here. There's plenty of space for it. There's plenty of room for it. I don't know why they didn't do it. At first I thought, oh, well, it's because the Endor Rebel Soldier just has a lot more paint on him. But other than his pants, he doesn't really have a lot of paint on there. He's up here on the shoulders and little bits here and there, but that's pretty much it. Whereas he has a lot of paint spread over the entirety of his body. Like, it's not concentrated in one spot like the pants are here, but it's still there. I guess my biggest problem here is that it's obvious that, you know, thinking of it as a business decision, they couldn't make this on a normal figure budget for whatever reason. I have no insight or knowledge. This is just what I've seen and heard, you know, based on what they've said about other figures that are also deluxe, is that they wanted to do them, but they didn't want to like half-ass it, so they bump it up to a deluxe level so it can have a bigger budget. The problem is, it seems like they did that to get the pants done, but then all these other things that it should have had, it's now missing, which makes it feel worse. So, you know, like the backpack should have had a storage compartment easily. There really shouldn't be this right here. That is just awful. This is almost borderline unacceptable. One of the things I did forget to talk about back here is he has backwards pockets. I checked and it does seem like this is there on the actual character on the screen, but it's weird that he's got pockets on the back of his pants. Like they're turned around, but they're not turned around. Like that's how it should look. But now he's got arrival legs. So look out, Charlie Sheen. But, you know, it doesn't even stop there because they could have, being deluxe, they could have added some other things in here to make it even better. You know, we have things like Endor Han. Han has a great trench coat. This is an asset that already exists. I mean, there are even Endor Rebel soldiers that have ponchos and trench coats just like Han Solo. So, you know, including these in there or even you know, like the poncho that Luke comes with. Like this should have been a no-brainer in terms of what they could have included in here. And it's not like it would have been that much more. It's not like they had to develop anything new. Just throw it in the package and you've got a nice little, you know, more customization, more customability. And that's really what people want from these Endor Rebel soldiers. They want to army build them, but they don't want to feel like they're just going to have a clone of the same character over and over and over again. Now, I say that ironically because the character in front of you is debated on whether or not it is Captain Rex or Nick Sant. Nick Sant was the name of the character because he looks like Santa Claus. When Rebels came around, Dave Filoni sort of modeled that look on old Rex, or, you know, he gave old Rex that look, and then canonically, they did place him on the Battle of Endor, leading people to speculate that that man is not Nick Sant, that man is old Rex. Granted, when you see old Rex on Endor, I think he was in the Galaxy, was it Galaxy of Heroes? It was some web cartoon. He has the gauntlets on, the clone gauntlets on, so you can clearly tell he's different, but they look similar. They have the beard, they have the same helmet, so there definitely is a vibe there. There are people that are diehard, no, this is Nick Sant. There are people that are diehard, no, I love it, this is Rex. Dave Filoni, very helpfully, has not come on either side of the issue. He says he's whoever you want to be. Sounds like a cop-out to me, but also it's the easiest thing to say. Me personally, my headcanon is that Nick Sant is Captain Rex, old Rex, and basically, so, you know, he wasn't using the Rex name anymore. He changed his name to Nick Sant to sort of kind of go in undercover. Like, obviously, there are going to be people that know who he is, but maybe the average Joe is going to be like, yo, were you a clone? I don't know. I honestly don't care. If you want to go into the comments and let me know how wrong I am or if you agree, feel free to say so. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I wish that, you know, being deluxe, paying $33 for this figure, I just wish he came with more stuff to justify that price point, because no matter how you swing it, this comes with just as much stuff, if not more, and he was cheaper. Not only was he pre-price hike, he was, you know, $20. I think he was like $22. I think I paid $22.99 for this. That's $10 difference, which is why I bought 2 of these when they first came out, and I've only got the one here. Now, I am planning on buying another one if and when they come out in the main line, but I have 3 of these Hoth Rebel soldiers, and I'm not going to buy 3 unless they go on sale or something. Whether you buy it or not, that is wholly up to you. I'm gonna put Leia here because I don't want her to be the odd man out. In fact, I'm gonna take this away, just kind of hanging out. Let's give him a blaster. So, you know, like, as cool as that looks, and as much as I really do seriously enjoy having this on my shelf, he's fun to play with, he's fun to pose, he's fun to put into cool little pictures and whatnot. I like it, but I don't love it. And a big problem of that just really is the price. I can justify a lot, but it's really hard to justify this. And I will not defend the price if someone complains about it. Yes, it's too expensive, and it's up to you if you feel like you want this on your shelf for that price, or if you want to try to play that chicken game. It's hard to say if we'll see this go on clearance. Even though the price is high, he's a popular character, he's got army building tendencies. We may not be seeing a lot of him on shelves. On top of, you know, there's rumors that Hasbro is lowering how many they're making now. So it's a weird time, especially when you have things like this. I bought this figure for $35. She is part of the Cosmic Legions line, so she costs $3 more than this one. She has, I would argue, just as much paint, if not more paint on her. She came with 3 different weapons. There's storage for all of them. She has this incredible wired cloak so that you can pose it. She has an alternate head. She has a breathing mask for that head. I bought her for $35 from when they had her up for pre-order, but you can go on like Big Bad Toy Store now or Nerdzoic or other places like that and buy her for $50, and she's still worth that $50 price point for everything you get. What I would have loved here is to see them, you know, if they need to price it higher, just give us more. Charge $40, charge $45 for it. Give us more stuff. If we're gonna have to pay more for it, make it worth that price. That's what I want to see. Because of all of that, I'm giving this a 3 out of 5. He's good. I really like him. Is he gonna be on my top 10 figure list of the year? If we're just basing it on the figure and the looks, maybe. He's quite possibly could be. But if we're adding in factors like pricing and stuff, I don't know. I really don't know. That coupled with the fact that you couldn't pre-order him. So the whole time I was anxious about getting him. You know, I don't want to have a hole in my collection, and not having something secured as a pre-order just means that the possibility that I could never see it is there. You know, having that pre-order silences that anxiety for me. So the whole thing was not fun from a collector's standard. Paying for it wasn't fun. Not having it on pre-order wasn't fun. Thankfully, the figure itself is fun when you're playing with it, but there's a lot of not fun to get to the fun. I can't say it's necessarily worth it. I'm glad I have him, but it's not something that I'm going to be buying a whole lot more of. Just probably the one to have the extra representation on my shelf. But like I said, if that's not for you, I get it. So that's it for my Endor Rebel Soldier review. In the end, honestly, I'm still very torn on whether I like it or not. I do, but every time I say I do, internally, I immediately think of all the things I don't like about it. But then, when I say I don't like it, I look at it and I go, no, that looks cool. It really does. It's so weird how it can be both great and terrible at the same time, which is almost impressive by itself. Anyways, let me know down downstairs area. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Do you have it? Are you waiting for clearance? Are you waiting for the mainline release? I love to read and respond to as many of those as I can. I'd also love to take a moment and thank these people here for supporting me on Patreon and a Black Series level or higher. Thanks so much. It means a lot to me that you guys still do this. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for getting this far. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next review. Bye.